go, another mountain adventure. So I just left the car back there, and I'm in North Wales, kind of the right north end of Snowdonia. And in fact, my objective for today is to get up a peak called Tal y Fan, which I believe is the most northerly mountain in the Snowdonia range. So take me about an hour and a half to get to the car park. It's October. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Got my shorts on. Really warm, 17 degrees. So really warm for October, obviously. So sunglasses and sun hat. So plan is head along this track and start heading up into the range. It should take 3 or 4 hours round trip. So it's about midday. So going to see how it goes, and hopefully an enjoyable walk. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's great weather, but there's these horrible electricity pylons. I know they're essential because we need them, but spoil the valley a bit. But anyway, stay tuned and let's see how the walk goes. I've got to the bottom of the mountain. Already some, ignore the pylon, but you already see some nice kind of vistas over towards Anglesey. But the bottom of the mountain, got to go up there now, pretty steep. So thought I'd record a bit before I start on my way up. So I've come over that way, and a bit higher up I can see how steep it's going to be. So I've got to go up here, and then there's a bit of a saddle, and then the summit. So I thought I'd record a piece, gird myself before I set off. I haven't been out on the mountains since I was up in Scotland, which is August, so it's October now, so 6 weeks or so. So my calf muscles are going to hurt, but going to give it a go. And what I hope is we got the nice views over Anglesey and Puffin Island and that way, and maybe some views back down towards Snowdon and Snowdonia. Apparently there's an old fort. I've already seen a couple of standing stones. There's an old fort somewhere up here as well, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that. And yeah, off we go. It's warm. I've rolled my sleeves up a bit. It's warm. So I'm just trying to put off the kind of the start of this, but there we go. Just had my lunch. Well, half of my lunch. I'm going to save the second half until I'm on the summit of Tal y Fan. So quite a steep walk up. Warm as well. It's October, but it feels like it could be late August, early September. It's really warm, so it's nice, but makes it a bit hot and sweaty coming up. So not quite to summit yet, but hopefully you can see the summit and this great wall. In fact, the route is really easy to come up because you just follow this wall all the way up from the valley floor. Just keep the wall to your right and you'll eventually get to the summit. In fact, I can see the wall going right up to the summit, so I guess the rest of my walk just keep following the wall. But I'll show you what I'm up to. Sorry about the sun shining at you. I'll try and use my shadow to stop the sun shining right at you. So I'm just trying to get an image with the wall leading the eye round onto the summit. The clouds are moving across quite quickly. There's a nice bit of blue sky, but it's almost, what time is it? Probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the sun's quite harsh. So I've set up a composition. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show you on the back of the camera. I'll try my best. I'll use my hat as a shade. But there's a lot of reflection. But hopefully you can see. Hang on, I'll just alter the exposure so you can see. I've got the summit in my rule of thirds on the left hand side, and then the wall cutting in from the right, and hopefully leads the eye round. But because the clouds are moving across quite quickly, the exposure's changing quite quickly. So sometimes the summit is in sunshine, sometimes it's in shadow. So what I'm waiting for is for it to be in sunshine. Otherwise it's going to be too dark. As I speak, the sun is now passing over me, and hopefully starts to clear. Yeah, there you go. You can see, hopefully you can see, sun is starting to shoot up the side of the summit. So in a couple of seconds the sun will be shining directly on the mountain and I can take my shots. I've dropped in a graduated filter because obviously the sky is very bright and the foreground's not as bright as the sky, so graduated filter just down to the summit gives me a balanced image. I'm just going to take one like that because there's a bit of sun in the foreground. It might not work, but I was looking for a bit of sunshine in the foreground and then darkness on the summit, potentially for a black and white image. But another couple of seconds and we'll be, as I say, cooking on gas. The sun is going to shine. I'm telling you, the sun is going to shine on the summit any second. Keep watching. Just talk amongst yourselves. I should have some music like when you're on hold to the insurance company or something. So here we go. Sun is starting to shine on the summit. So I'm going to turn you round in a second and you'll see the difference. There we go. So the sun is now shining on the summit. And I'm taking my image. And the nice thing about this time of year, because it's October, the sun never gets kind of right high in the sky. Sorry, I'll use my shadow again. Sun never gets right high in the sky, so the shadows, the light isn't quite as harsh as it would be, say, in June or July. So you do get a bit more shadow to give a bit more definition. But I'm taking a couple of images. I quite like the idea of the wall leading round, so probably pack up now and head to the summit. And I've saved a sandwich, and when I'm at the summit I'll show you what we can see. Made it to the summit, which is just there. You can hopefully see it over my shoulder. Been up there, come back again, and I've just broken my tripod for my GoPro, so sorry if it's a little bit wobbly, but kind of snapped off, so I have to get a new one of those. So the reason I've come back, so the summit itself isn't that picturesque. It doesn't really lend itself to any images, but my walk involves me going over the other side of the summit, so what I'm hoping is when I get over the other side I might look back and see something. But I came to look at this. Now it's going to be bright, so I apologise in advance. So I'm looking that way, and that's the Snowdonia kind of range over there. I think that's Canon Llewellyn. No, well, in fact I'm fairly certain that's Canon Llewellyn, because I've photographed there. And I came, I think the last time I spoke to you, I was up, you can probably see the wall, so I was about 3/4 of the way up along that wall, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a kind of a, you can see the clouds are coming and going. The wind is really blowing a lot. It's quite hazy. On a clear day it would be a completely different proposition, but what I'm trying to do is I'm waiting for the sun to go behind a cloud and then see this big set of rocks here. I'm trying to do a panorama starting with those rocks in the left hand corner and then finishing with that summit in the right hand corner, so sweeping that way. And I've got the camera set up in portrait. I've mentioned it before, one of the reasons to use portrait when you're doing panoramas, it takes more images. So if I was doing landscape, it's maybe 3 images. Portrait, it might be 5 or 6. But the reason being is because the portrait obviously gives you a kind of greater range from sky to floor. When you put them together, stitch them together, you've got more room to play with, if that makes sense. So you think about it as if you're looking through a letterbox. So if you're kind of looking through the letterbox and you've made images that are long, the size of your letterbox on the images can be bigger. Hopefully that makes sense. hopefully I've explained that quite well. But it means you can crop stuff from the top of the bottom as well. So all I'm waiting for is, because I don't want to shoot directly into the sun, I'm just waiting for some of those clouds to kind of not make it pitch dark, but just to obscure the sun a little bit. And while we're waiting for that, I'll give you an idea of where we are. So that's the Great Ormond, Llandudno down there. So my previous film was from Llandudno, which is down there. See, that's kind of the Irish Sea. You might not be able to see because of the haze. There's Anglesey and Puffin Island and Penman Point. I've kind of made a film from Penman Point, and then you won't be able to see it, but just in the haze you can see the far side of Anglesey. And I've filmed over there as well, and I've filmed on Cornet Llewellyn, so been quite busy around here. But what I'm hoping is when there's a bit of cloud in front of the sun, I get some nice kind of granular. It's not going to be one of those really sharp images. I don't really want one of those really sharp images. What I get is like kind of granular, contrasty kind of views. Cloud's not working at the moment, but I'll show you the setup. Hopefully you can see this. This is a bit fiddly now because the thing's broken. But all I'm doing, hopefully you can see, it's dark in the foreground, bright up in the sky, and I've got my graduated filter on just to take a bit of the brightness out of the sky. But look, I'll run you through. Start with those rocks over there. So that's these rocks here, and then I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 images, working through that panorama. Might even go a little bit. I don't want to go too far because there's a fence over there. I don't want the fence in the images. So, but I'm just waiting for my hat to blow off. Just waiting for the cloud to cover the sun a little bit. So when it does, I'll pop back. So here we go. The sun's gone behind the clouds a little bit, so I'll just show you. Going for a bit. Don't want it too dark, but go there. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Before the sun comes out. 5, and hopefully you can see, it's quite dark and hopefully mysterious and all that sort of malarkey. I'll go for one with I'm going to overexpose that one a bit like that. I can pull that back, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I overexposed one there, or a series. Almost tripped over my tripod leg there. Just overexpose the series a bit to give myself that bit of leeway in case the other one's too dark. It's a kind of, I don't know, it's like the Beetle or something making this high whizzing noise above my head. So anyway, just to give myself the leeway, overexposed, to give myself the leeway in case the previous one is a bit too dark. So I've got a kind of couple of options. It's kind of an insurance package. But there's a lot of cloud coming over now. So we're I think this is the forefront. There's a storm heading our way, I think called Ophelia. It was a hurricane when it was in the Atlantic, but it's losing power, but it's heading our way, and I think this might be the kind of the forerunner. It's meant to be very, very wild and windy over the next kind of day or so. So probably done for here. Going to go back up to the summit and then head down and see if there's something to shoot back towards. I don't know. There's a fort. There's an old fort down there somewhere. I don't know what state it's in, so it might just be a couple of rocks in the ground, but we'll have a look, and I'll see you soon. Not quite what I had in mind for the next clip. I think the previous time I spoke to you, I was up on the summit taking images, those panorama images. I don't think I did anything between then and this. The reason I'm a bit unsure, because I was planning to do some stuff around the summit, but the sole of my boot split. So I was up near the summit and it just right across, and I've had these boots for probably 10 years or more, and the right boot split right across the sole, and not great. So I've had to come down. It's taken me a long time to come down because I'm kind of hobbling with one foot, so not ideal. So I'm thinking about another 10 minutes or so from the car park. So sheep. That sheep's been in front of me now for about 20 minutes. Yeah, so I had to come down off the top and get to a road as quickly as possible, because walking over the rocks and whatnot was just kind of really not good. So I'll have to come back, won't I, at some point, and finish off the summit. But I hope you, I think, you know, the first half of the day was pretty good. Really great weather, really warm, blue sky. Was windy, but the winds dropped. Maybe that's the calm before the storm of Ophelia. But yeah, I thought the first half of the day was pretty good. I can see my car now. So I hope some of the images turn out. You'll know by what I put in. And hope you enjoyed the film. Always thanks for any comments or thumbs up, or I do like the comments because it's nice having a chat with people. Might not be a film for a little while, maybe a week, 2 weeks, because I'm going to Venice next week. Not on a photography trip, taking Una there for her birthday surprise, so I've got 3 days in Venice, so really looking forward to it. But I won't be making any YouTube films while I'm there, not that I'll publish anyway. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, and by the way, keep an eye out for the film with the giveaway. Hopefully by the time I get back from Venice, the product will have arrived, and then you can have a look at that, and there's a chance for you to be a lucky person who gets the product. I'm not telling you all until the big reveal. So I'll see you then. Bye.